Welcome to the World Cup Game Day Sports Bar with me, Max Scott, alongside the legend, the oracle that is Rory Jennings. Because he called it in the office. Spain have reached the World Cup final, beating France 2-0 live on talkSPORT. And I'm not going to lie, I did not see it coming. But crikey Moses, how good was Spain tonight? Could England beat them if we beat Argentina? And of course, we're just under 24 hours away from that historically massive semi-final. What are your plans for tomorrow? Where are you watching? Get in touch. We want to know how the nation is gearing up for this huge game against Argentina. And how confident are you that we can beat a side captained by Lionel Messi? As well as that, we're going to be joined by the legend that is South American football expert Tim Vickery, as he provides everything we need to know about our opposition. And we'll be joined by talkSPORT.com's Jack Cunningham, Geordie Jack, as we get tomorrow's back pages today. Get involved. We cannot do this show without you. 03717 223344. That is the number to call. You can text us on that number on WhatsApp. You can text us on 81089. And a reminder, you can watch us on YouTube, your smart TV, on TikTok, everywhere. This is a Sports Bar on talkSPORT.
Yes, sir.
I didn't see it coming. Maybe it shows how much of a fraud I am and that I know nothing about this beautiful game, because I was convinced by the hype train of France, and Spain, as you've said, sorry to steal it from you, have suffocated them for 9 minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And look, I don't think that you need to either apologise or acknowledge that you got it wrong. I am the very definition of a broken clock being right twice a day. I thought Spain were going to win. I know how brilliant they are, and it's that control that they put into a game. It's that control. They don't let you breathe. They don't allow you any sort of momentum, and you can't get the ball off them. Like, if you think about England, like, the reason why I was so convinced Spain were going to win is because I was looking at this final, and I was looking at it perhaps prematurely through the lens of who I want England to play.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, who are England more likely to beat? And I was convinced that we're more likely to beat France. I'd kind of concede that we'd be underdogs against Spain or France. But I think our game would be more suited to beating France.
See, I disagree. I'd have rather played Spain, and maybe I've been hoodwinked by the fact that they drew against Cape Verde in the opening game, that they had Saudi Arabia. They're obviously going to beat them. They beat 10-man Uruguay 1-0. Uruguay stunk the place out. Marcelo Bielsa's destroyed and ruined his legacy.
Do you not just go back immediately to what happened in Berlin? When they were just too good for us.
Because I look at it and I think, this is the FA. I bet the FA are rubbing their hands at the prospect of potentially, we're not jinxing it, potentially playing Spain in a final, because it would vindicate their decision to hire Thomas Tuchel. There was lots of controversy about having a German in the seat, and I think he's got what it takes. He's got what Southgate didn't. Southgate's done amazing things. I believe we're standing on the shoulders of a giant in Southgate, what he did for England. But I think Tuchel's got the tactical nous and that edge and that aggression and that fight to get one over someone like Spain. Whereas I thought France were going to be too much. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think look, I could see a world where England would struggle against France or Spain.
Yes.
The team that I thought would be trickier for us to navigate was Spain. I just look at the control that Rodri would impose on the game. You think about that midfield. Dani Olmo picks up that space in those pockets. How do England look after that? The way that Fabian Ruiz and Rodri would look after the ball. Yep. Think about what you've seen with England so far this tournament. Like, we couldn't get the ball off Martin Odegaard. Like, we genuinely, we couldn't get the ball off Premier League winning like captain. Congo would dominate in possession at various points. Fabian Ruiz, Rodri, Dani Olmo, it would feel like it would be our nemesis. Whereas against France, right, the reason why, again, I would concede that England wouldn't be favourites against France. But the reason I think that we would have a better chance is because I think we'd win the midfield battle.
And they've got Luca Digne at left back.
And they'd have a go.
Yeah.
So it would be the words of Vindaloo. It would be, we're going to score one more than you. You come for us, we'll come for you. We'll have a slugging match. We'll stand in the centre of the ring and we'll go for the jugular, and may the best man win.
Well, I disagree, because I think it's a bit simpler than that, Rory. And I don't think you're wrong. I don't make you wrong about Spain. The reason I would have preferred not to have played France in the final is because ultimately, what's England's biggest weakness? It's our defence. And France have a world-class front four. And so I think it's as simple as that. I don't think that Orazabal or Mikel Merino, San Marino coming off the bench, I don't think that's as scary as Mbappe, Dembele, Elise, Doué, Barcola, for example. So I'm a bit happier about it.
Do you think it's fair to say this then, Max? Do you think it's fair to say that, generally speaking, games are won and lost in the midfield. The midfield battle is what will dictate the tempo of the game. I think
the defence wins titles, Rory.
Yeah, but the Spanish midfield...
Whose cliche is better, mine or yours?
Mine, for the purposes of my argument. Look, I can see where you're coming from. I can. But I would have been far more confident going up against Didier Deschamps' France side than I would be Spain. As soon as you say Spain to me, I just get shudders down my spine about what happened in Berlin.
Do you know what does scare me, though? Lamine Yamal finally arrived at this tournament. He had a goal ruled out. He was a skin follicle offside.
Yeah.
Wonderful finish. Beat his man, guts for garters, and he looked like he was properly there.
Well, he said it, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said he turns up when it most matters, and I think it's fair to say that he's telling the truth so far. Him on point with that midfield. Also, it must be so inspiring for Spain. It must be so inspiring for them because they know now. Look, they've won the Euros.
Yeah.
They're the reigning champions of the Euros. They're making history. They've done it once before. They're now potentially going to win a World Cup.
We're going to head to the phone lines in just a minute, but do you not think, Rory, that there is something about the potential for vindication and revenge against the Spanish, who we still managed to score a goal against? You know, in a side that clearly didn't have the mettle to go and win something. Whereas I think under Thomas Tuchel, think about the fire lit under their belly after all the
Do you know what's amazing? Do you know what's amazing, right? This is you and I now are just demonstrating that very English quality, where we're debating who we'd rather play in a final before we play Argentina in a semi. This is so typically English of us, isn't it? Oh, I'd much rather play Spain in a final. We cross that imaginary bridge when you get there, mate.
I know. We're getting carried away, but look, that's what the World Cup's about. James just texted in 81089 saying, it's coming home, lads. I'm loving the energy. Right, we're going to go straight to the phone lines. It's lighting up. Lee is a Leeds fan. Lee, talk to us about how you're feeling. Good evening, mate. Thanks for calling in.
What we're doing, lads, all right?
Yes, mate.
I'm on the side that I think we're going to be better off against Spain, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Purely for the fact, not that I disagree with anything either side. I think there's merits to both.
Yeah.
But I think that France's attack, when it's on point, obviously I feel that's our weakest point is our defence. And I think we would really struggle against that front. You could call it six with the substitutes, with obviously with Dewey and Barcola as well.
Yeah.
So I think going forward, I think it suits us better to play against Spain. I think obviously our pace, going forward, and we always tend to play better against the bigger teams as well. I don't know if that's just me who thinks that, but I always think that England play better against a bigger team. And I think going forward against Spain, I think we would be able to cause them a lot of trouble.
I met you right, Lee. I met you right. But I can almost hear the people screaming at their TV screens, screaming at their radios, wherever they are, saying, look, Max, Rory, we haven't won the semi-final yet. So talk to us about tomorrow, Lee.
So
how confident are you against Argentina? Talk me through your feelings and tell us where you're watching as well.
Pretty confident. I don't think Argentina as a squad, their team as a full squad, is anywhere near as strong as ours. They've got some amazing individuals. Obviously, the obvious is Messi. Messi's phenomenal and the greatest man to ever, the greatest player to ever lace up a pair of boots, quite frankly. However, he's getting deeper into the tournament. His age is eventually going to catch up on him. I'm not saying that's going to happen tomorrow. Fingers crossed it will. But I think our energy and our drive, and like a lot of, I think you said earlier about Tuchel lighting a fire, with Spain and as sort of the aftermath of Argentina, he can use that against Argentina and said, something, lads, you've got a chance. If we beat Argentina, you've got a chance to go beat the team who beat you, in Berlin, like you say. And I think that overall, I think we're the better team than Argentina. I know the statistics or the rankings and stuff might not necessarily show that, but I do believe that our attack as a whole, our midfield as a whole, depending on obviously where the Rice is fit, and there's been a bit of up and down about whether Rice is going to play or not. But yeah, I do think that as a unit, we are the better team. I think we should come through. Yeah. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy because we're England and it's never easy.
Lee, I agree with you,
England, but
I agree with you.
I just think that we've got a stronger team as an overall.
Yeah. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree with that. Lee, I agree with every word. I think we smashed Argentina. I think part of the reason why we're talking about the final, part of the reason why we're talking about our Spain good opposition, bad opposition for England, is because I think that a lot of people are very confident that we can beat Argentina.